The internet is losing its mind right now, because what if one album just revealed a love story fans have been trying to decode for years? What if every lyric, every pause, every melody from Bruno Mars is actually pointing straight to one woman, Jessica Caban? Stay with this story, because what we uncovered might completely change how you hear the romantic forever. And before we go deeper, make sure you hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe, because the story only gets more intense from here. Started quietly, almost too quietly. No explosive announcement, no dramatic reveal. Just the release of The Romantic, a project that, at first glance, felt like a return to classic Bruno Mars storytelling. Smooth vocals, emotional depth, timeless production. But within hours, fans began noticing something unusual. The lyrics didn't just sound romantic, they sounded personal. Deeply personal. Social media lit up. Fan theories flooded timelines. Was this just another love-themed album? Or was this something more real, more intimate, more revealing than anything Bruno Mars has ever released? Because when you listen closely, certain lines hit differently. Not like generic love songs, but like confessions. Moments that feel less like performance and more like memory. And fans quickly connected those emotions to one name that has been linked to Bruno Mars for years: Jessica Caban. Their relationship has always been somewhat private, almost mysterious. No constant headlines, no oversharing, just glimpses. Rare appearances, subtle posts, quiet support. But now, with The Romantic, it feels like the curtain has been pulled back. Just enough to make people wonder what's really been happening behind the scenes. And here's where things get even more interesting. Some fans believe specific tracks mirror key moments in their relationship timeline. The early passion, the distance, the questions, and possibly the healing. One particular song, already going viral, has lyrics that describe a love that never truly fades, even when silence takes over. A love that waits, a love that remembers. Is that just songwriting brilliance? Or something more? Because insiders close to the music industry are starting to hint that this album may be Bruno Mars' most honest work yet. Not just emotionally, but personally. And if that's true, then every word carries weight. Every lyric could be a clue. But let's slow down for a second. What if we're looking at this the wrong way? What if The Romantic isn't just about Jessica Caban, but about the evolution of love itself? The highs, the doubts, the growth that comes with time. Because Bruno Mars has always been known for blending universal emotions with personal storytelling. That's what makes his music hit so hard. It feels like your story, even when it's his. Still, the connections are hard to ignore. Fans have pointed out that certain phrases used in the album closely resemble captions and interviews linked to Jessica Caban in the past. Coincidence? Maybe. But in today's digital world, fans don't just listen, they investigate. And the deeper they dig, the more patterns they think they're finding. And right in the middle of all the speculation, there's one detail that changed everything. A subtle visual, a background element. Something easy to miss, but impossible to forget once you see it. In one of the promotional visuals for The Romantic, eagle-eyed fans spotted imagery that many believe directly references Jessica Caban's personal style and past work. It wasn't obvious. It wasn't confirmed. But it was enough to send the internet into overdrive. Suddenly, this wasn't just about music anymore. It became a story, puzzle, possible love letter hidden in plain sight. And that's when the emotional buzz truly exploded. Because whether they're still together, taking space, or simply evolving, this album has reignited public fascination with their connection. People aren't just listening to songs anymore. They're listening for meaning, for truth, for answers. And maybe that's exactly what Bruno Mars intended. Not a direct statement, not a public confession, but something more powerful, a body of work that speaks for itself, leaving just enough mystery to keep everyone guessing. As streaming numbers climb and discussions grow louder, one thing is clear: The Romantic is more than just an album. It's an experience, one that blends music, emotion, and real-life curiosity into something almost cinematic. But here's the real question: if this is a love story, how does it end? Is this album a reflection of something that's still alive? or something that once was? Is it closure or continuation? For now, neither Bruno Mars nor Jessica Caban has publicly confirmed any of these theories. And maybe they never will. Maybe the beauty of the romantic lies in its ambiguity, in the way it lets listeners create their own meaning. But one thing is undeniable. People are feeling something, deeply, and in a world flooded with content, that kind of emotional impact is rare. So now we turn it over to you. Do you think the romantic is really about Jessica Caban? Or is it simply a masterpiece of storytelling that feels real enough to believe? Drop your thoughts below, join the conversation, and don't forget to subscribe for more breaking stories and deep dives into the moments everyone is talking about. And just when it felt like the conversation couldn't get any louder, something unexpected happened. Streams surged overnight. Not just steady growth, but a spike. A massive, almost explosive jump that pushed the romantic back into trending discussions across multiple platforms. New listeners were arriving, old fans were returning, and everyone seemed to be asking the same question. What are we missing? Because this wasn't just about replay value anymore. This was about decoding emotion. Clips started circulating, short, carefully edited moments where Bruno Mars pauses between lines, where his voice slightly cracks, where the instrumentation pulls back just enough to let a single lyric hit harder than the rest. These micro-moments became the center of attention. Fans slowed them down, replayed them, analyzed them frame by frame. And suddenly, the narrative deepened. Some began to believe that the album wasn't written all at once, but across different emotional phases. That certain tracks represent different chapters of a relationship. And if that theory holds weight, then the order of the songs might not be random at all. It might be intentional storytelling. A beginning, conflict, a distance, a realization, and maybe a return. That idea alone sent speculation into another level. Because if the romantic is structured like a timeline, then every transition matters. Every shift in tone could signal a change in real life. And here's where it gets even more intense. Listeners pointed out that the production style subtly evolves as the album progresses. Early tracks feel warm, vibrant, almost nostalgic. But as the album moves forward, there's a noticeable shift. More stripped-down arrangements, more space, more vulnerability. It's almost as if the music itself is reflecting emotional distance. And then, toward the final stretch, something changes again. The sound opens up. The melodies feel lighter, but not necessarily happier. More like acceptance, like understanding, like closure, or maybe peace. And if that interpretation is true, then it raises a powerful possibility. That this album isn't just about love. It's about what happens after love is tested. Which brings us back to Jessica Caban. Because throughout all this analysis, her name continues to surface, not because of confirmation, but because of consistency. Fans aren't just guessing randomly. They're connecting dots that seem to align too well to ignore. Old interviews, past public appearances, subtle details from years ago that suddenly feel relevant again. Even the way Bruno Mars once described love in earlier songs is now being compared to the tone of the romantic. And many are noticing a difference, not in quality but in depth. More reflective, more introspective, more real. But here's the twist no one saw coming. Some fans are now questioning whether this album is meant to be understood at all. Think about it. What if the clues aren't there to be solved, but to be felt? What if the romantic isn't a puzzle, but a mirror? Because the more people try to pin it down to a single narrative, the more it seems to expand beyond one story. Listeners from different backgrounds are relating to completely different parts of the album. Some hear heartbreak, others hear hope. Some hear goodbye, others hear a second chance. And that duality might be the real message. Still, the connection to Jessica Caban refuses to fade, especially after a recent resurfaced clip began trending again. In it, Bruno Mars speaks briefly but meaningfully about the idea of writing from truth. Not specifics, not names, just a simple statement about how the most powerful songs come from real experiences. That clip alone reignited everything. Because if he's writing from truth, then what truth is being told here? And why now? timing, as always, plays a crucial role. The release of The Romantic didn't come with heavy promotion or dramatic interviews. It arrived almost quietly, and yet, the emotional impact has been louder than any campaign could achieve. Which leads to another theory gaining traction, that this album wasn't made to dominate charts, but to say something that couldn't be said any other way. And if that's the case, then every lyric becomes even more important. Every pause becomes intentional. Every silence becomes meaningful. And right when fans thought they had reached peak speculation, another detail surfaced. A pattern in the song titles themselves. Individually, they seem poetic. But when placed together, some fans believe they form a subtle narrative arc. One that mirrors the rise, fall, and possible renewal of a relationship. It's not obvious. It's not confirmed. But it's enough to keep people talking. And more importantly, listening. Because that's the real power of this moment. People aren't just consuming music, they're engaging with it, interacting with it, building conversations around it. And in doing so, they're keeping the story alive. Whether that story is about Jessica Caban or something broader, almost doesn't matter anymore, because the emotional connection has already been made. And maybe that's the real payoff. Not a confirmed relationship status, not a public statement, but a shared experience between artist and listener, where the lines between reality and interpretation blur just enough to create something unforgettable. And as the buzz continues to grow, one thing becomes clearer than ever. This isn't just a moment, it's a movement, a reminder that music still has the power to make people feel, question, and connect on a level that goes far beyond headlines. So now, as the conversation reaches new heights, we're left with one final thought. What if the real story of The Romantic isn't about uncovering the truth, but about how many different truths it can hold at once? Let us know what you think. Are these connections real, or are fans reading too deep into the emotion? Drop your theories, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and stay tuned, because if there's one thing we've learned from this story, it's that we might only be seeing the beginning. And just when it seemed like the conversation had reached its peak, it flipped again. Because now, a new wave of listeners isn't just analyzing the lyrics, they're analyzing the silence around them. No interview.